My ears were just tired.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area's Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay. I'm the Vice President of Voter Services. And on behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome y'all here with us. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues and to encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Thursday, October 13th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area, and the League will only allow audio or video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, who will be our Zoom flight director this evening, and President Oler, who will serve as our timekeeper for this forum. This forum features two candidates for the Corpus Christi ISD School Board, District 1. Those candidates are Amanda Rose and Eric Villarreal. And here is how this forum will proceed for y'all. Each participating candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for an opening statement and 1 minute for a closing statement. Between those two statements, candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator. Candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed, and in unusual cases in which a candidate may refer to the position or record of an opponent, a brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidates will be muted by our Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind y'all of your time limits. And when your time is up, we ask you to please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will also be muted by our Zoom flight director. With that, let's go ahead and get this candidate forum started. We're going to begin with the opening statements. Just as a reminder, there'll be a 2-minute opening statement, and we will start with Amanda Rose.
Hello, good evening. My name is Amanda Rose, and I am running for District 1 CCISD Board of Trustees. And I would like this job because I was a classroom teacher for 15 years. 12 of those years I served here in CCISD as a high school science teacher. And I have seen the profession take a turn for the worse, and I would like to make it better. I would like to improve our education system, but starting here at home with CCISD. I think there are a lot of issues that can be addressed at a local level. We do have too much district testing, too much standardized testing in our districts. We have way too much responsibility placed on the shoulders of our teachers, for which they really should not have to bear the burden, nor do we pay them enough. And I would like to see an enforcement of our anti-nepotism and conflict of interest policies that I don't believe are being enforced. And I want to support our students by supporting our teachers. Our teachers are the ones who are with them every day, are the ones who are caring for them every day and providing them with a safe learning environment. And if we want to give our students the best education possible, we have to support those teachers, those librarians, those counselors, and those paraprofessionals who do make that possible. So I guess that's all I have to say. You can go ahead and stop the timer.
Thank you so much for that opening statement. And we'll move on to a 2-minute opening statement for you, Mr. Villarreal.
Good evening. My name is Eric Villarreal, and I'm running for CCISD School Board District 1. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas, and raised in Orange Grove, Texas. After graduating from Orange Grove High School, I attended Texas A&M University and earned a degree in civil engineering. I'm married to Dr. Natalie Villarreal and have three wonderful children, Ezra, Eli, and Carmen, all of whom attend or have attended CCISD schools. I have worked as a licensed professional engineer in the civil engineering industry for over 20 years, with the past 14 at Ardura Group, which is formerly LNV. Along with providing clients with planning, budgeting, design, and supervision of municipal infrastructure projects, I mentor young engineers within the company, along with high school and college students interested in joining the engineering profession. I have a long history of servant leadership in our community, including volunteering with the Corpus Christi Education Foundation, Baker and Ray Basketball Booster Clubs, Metro E, Baker, Ray PTAs, the Buccaneer Commission, Youth Sports, and several other organizations. I've also served as the chair of the Corpus Christi Planning Commission, where I used my professional experience to plan future development in the city, and I currently serve as immediate past chair of the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce. I plan to prioritize school safety, teacher pay and retention, and student success. I think my experience as a CCISD parent, community volunteer, and business professional makes me the best candidate for this position. I will serve the students, parents, and education professionals as I have served the Corpus Christi community. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for those opening statements. We'll jump right into the questions. Question 1 tonight is going to be, what will be your priorities in office, and what measurable actions will you take to address them? Mr. Villarreal, we'll start with you and you'll have 1 minute.
Thank you. As I mentioned, school safety obviously is a big deal, not just here in CCISD, but around the state, around the country. I know that the current school board is taking safety measures with each bond proposal, and I'll continue to make sure that safety is a priority in each budget. Secondly, I mentioned teacher pay, teacher retention. Teachers are the backbone of the school district. And so I think it's important that we budget, raises, we look at mental health, we look at teacher workload. Those are things that I will prioritize. And obviously student success. We want to provide students with a learning environment that will prepare them to be productive citizens in their next chapter, whether that be technical school, the workforce, the military, or college or university. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rose, same question. And if y'all do need me to repeat a question, please let me know. I certainly can.
Well, my priorities, of course, the students come first. And again, like I said, to support our students, we have to support our teachers. So one of my biggest priorities is to reduce the teacher workload. I want to restore time and autonomy. Those are the two biggest factors leading to our teacher shortage, and those need to be restored in our classrooms. I also prioritize the diversity, equity, and inclusion in our classrooms. I feel that we need to restore that initiative that was once part of the district plan and has been taken away. We do need to prioritize student safety, often with proper maintenance of our buildings, which is going to require funding being placed where it needs to be in the priority campuses, where we might have some buildings that are a little run down and some facilities that need some maintenance. That is a huge safety issue. And then one of my biggest priorities is to reduce testing.
Thank you all so much for those answers. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 is, what is the impact of the new independent charter school networks on the funding for CCISD public schools? And is there anything you would do to change that impact? Ms. Rose, we'll begin with you.
Well, as we know, charter schools can take away funding from our public schools. And as a former public school teacher, and my sons both attend public school, I am a big supporter of our public schools. And I think if we want to reduce the impact that can have on the funding and the loss of enrollment and funds, we need to make our schools more competitive. And to do that, we need to offer more programs that benefit these students, vocational programs, as well as academic programs that could lead to certifications upon graduation. We do have some of these programs at some of our campuses, and it's wonderful, and I would like to see that expanded. So I think if we are more competitive, and that's going to have a big impact.
Thank you so much. Excuse me, Mr. Villarreal, same question.
Thank you. Obviously, the issue of charter schools is huge when it comes to them taking away students from the school district. The school district, but the budget is made by student enrollment and more particularly student attendance. And so one of the responsibilities of a school board member is to promote public schools. And so I intend to do that. Again, providing those priorities of student success, teacher retention, school safety, and making Corpus Christi Independent School District the place that parents want to send their students. That's my goal, and those will be my priorities.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our final question this evening. This question is, what other issues do you believe will be the most pressing for the CCISD school board? Mr. Villarreal, we'll begin with you.
As I mentioned, school budget. We've seen a decrease in students at CCISD, which has affected the school budget. We're seeing an increase of kids coming back. So certainly the funding, and that goes up to the state funding. We need to work with our local legislators to make sure that public school continues to be funded and is funded so that we can provide the best atmosphere, the best teachers, best teacher packages for students to want to come to school here. So budget is a big issue. School safety, that's a never-ending issue. And so being able to utilize bond programs to build new schools that are safer and provide a good environment for our kids to learn.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rose, same question.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Absolutely. The question is, what other issues do you believe will be most pressing for the CCISD school board?
Well, the wise use of taxpayer funds is always a very pressing question. Some of our bonds have not necessarily been proposed in a way that made the best use of taxpayer funds. And so I think we need to vet our bond proposals a little bit better so we can use that money more wisely. I want to make this a district that teachers and students flock to, that they want to come here. And it's very important to me that we have competitive pay and that we respect teachers' time and autonomy. And I will spare you details on that because I could talk about that for hours. I also feel we have a problem with nepotism and cronyism in this district, and that's something that I think the board can address. It's not something people want to talk about, but it is definitely something we can address. And as a board, I think in order to better attract teachers, we need to extend contracts and have term contracts of 5 years or more.
Thank you all so much for answering our questions this evening. We've come to the portion of the forum where you'll have 1 minute for a closing statement. Mr. Villarreal, we're going to begin with you.
Thank you. As I previously mentioned, I'm a parent and have volunteered with booster clubs and PTAs at all of my children's schools. I have experience working with teachers, staff, coaches, and administrators at each of those schools. And I'm familiar with the issues that students, parents, teachers, and administrators face each day. I'm a business professional who's familiar with budgeting and planning for municipalities that have limited budgets. I'm a community volunteer. I'm a graduate of Leadership Corpus Christi. And as I mentioned, have been involved in several city and community boards and commissions. My experience on these boards has given me the opportunity to learn what good governance means. I tend to make well-informed decisions by being prepared for board meetings and listening and respecting comments, opinions, and recommendations from staff and other stakeholders. Please vote for me, Eric Villarreal, for CCISD School Board District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Rose, your 1 minute closing statement.
Well, I love this district. I have served this district. I've been dedicated to this district for 12 years. Both of my sons have spent their entire education in this district, and we wouldn't have it any other way. I have given blood, sweat, and tears to the jobs that I have held in this district, and I want to make it better. I want to see it be the best district in Texas. And as a former classroom teacher, I know firsthand the stresses that our students and our faculty and staff are facing. I have lived it. I was a teacher a year ago, so I know what the current state of education is like, and I know it from the trenches. And so I feel that I am the best candidate for this position because I know what questions to ask. I know how to communicate with teachers and parents and students and find out what their needs are. And I think that should be our #1 priority.
Candidates, thank you so much for joining us this evening at this forum. I also want to give a big thank you to Anel Neal, who served as our Zoom flight director this evening. And Debbie Noble is the director of our website and social media, and so for making this forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we enjoy in our nation, but also for their commitment to public service and the sacrifices they have made to participate in the campaign process. So thank you all very much for all you're doing. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, and welcome to the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi Area's Candidate Forum. My name is Eli McKay. I'm the Vice President of Voter Services. And on behalf of Catherine Oler, President of the Corpus Christi League, it is my pleasure to welcome y'all here. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We neither support nor oppose candidates of any political party. Since its founding more than 75 years ago, the League's mission has been to promote voter awareness of candidates and issues, and to encourage individuals not only to register to vote, but also to vote in all elections. This forum was recorded on Thursday, October the 13th, and later posted to the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters Facebook and YouTube pages. Recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio and video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety, except by media reporting on the event. Joining me this evening are Anel Neal, who will serve as our Zoom flight director this evening, and President Catherine Oler, who will serve as the timekeeper for this forum. This forum will feature 2 candidates for the Corpus Christi ISD School Board, District 3, Mr. Marty Bell and Mr. Richard Tony Elizondo. And here is how this forum will proceed. Each participating candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement and a 1-minute closing statement. Between those 2 statements, candidates will be asked 3 issue-focused questions by the moderator. Candidates will have 1 minute to respond to each question. Rebuttals are not allowed, and in unusual cases in which a candidate makes a reference to the position or record of an opponent, a brief 30-second rebuttal may be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. If mentioning opponents continues, the candidate will be muted by our Zoom flight director. A countdown timer will appear to remind you of your time limits. And when your time is up, we ask you please finish your sentence and yield the floor, or you will be muted by our Zoom flight director. With that, let's begin this candidate forum. We are going to begin with the 2-minute opening statements. And Mr. Bell, we're going to begin with you.
Good evening. First off, and thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm glad we can spend this time to get to know each other. My name is Marty Bell. I'm running for District 3, Corpus Christi Independent School District. I retired from teaching in 2016 as a 34-year classroom teacher. I taught biology and was a basketball coach for most of that 34 years. The last 18 years I was spent at Carroll High School. So, and I've lived in District 3 for most of my life, starting in 1965. My wife is a product of CCISD. I'm a product of CCISD, Shannon Elementary, Tom Brown, Carroll High School. And 2016, when I retired, I told my wife that I was going to run for school board, and she said, "Shut up." And I said, "Well, I think it's important that we're able to take what the school board knows and what's actually happening in the classroom and see if we can't lower and bring that gap closer. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I was elected in 2016 at large, and what you always hear on the school board is always what actually happens in the classroom. And I think it's important that we have that conversation. I have 3 adult children that are all products of CCISD District 3, and so we're pretty invested. My daughter is the girls basketball coach at Carroll High School. My son teaches out at Flower Bluff, and so we talk about education on a daily basis at our house. And I just think that having a teacher on the school board that's walked the walk for as long as I did is really important to the education of our 33,000 students in Corpus Christi Independent School District.
Thank you, sir. And we'll move on next to Mr. Elizondo for your 2-minute opening statement.
Great. Again, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm on the road right now, so I apologize to everybody for not being able to physically see me, but I'm here. I know how important this call was, so I wanted to make sure I was able to pull over. I decided to run for school board again. I was actually on the school board from 2014 to 2018. When I left the school board, I took a position in Minnesota. I was a school board president at the time, but I wanted to run again for several reasons. I think there's a lot of great things happening in CCISD, but I also think that there's a lot of opportunities for improvement there. I think we need to really get a hold of our budget. I really think we need to have more teacher input. There needs to be accountability, transparency. School safety is one of my huge things that I'm going to focus on. And I have a master's in counseling. So with that, mental health is really big, and it's a really big subject right now. I am from Corpus Christi, born and raised. I am a product of CCISD. My wife is a school teacher. My daughter is a school teacher. My son is in the United States Marine Corps now. I am a former U.S. Army veteran. With that, I started teaching in CCISD in about 1995, and I taught in their adult education program. I taught at the Adult Learning Center. I taught at the Halfway House. I taught at the Substance Abuse Treatment Facility. And with that, I always knew that these were people who made wrong choices. And I wanted to get into the youth. So I spent about 25 years of my career in nonprofit agencies like the Family and Community Violent Prevention Program, Big Brothers, Big Sisters of South Texas. And that was a path that I took as a young child, falling through the cracks, having a tough time in school. And I knew we needed to do more. And it was one of those things where I said, you know what, I'm going to run for the school board, and I'm just going to try and do my best to be in touch with other teachers, to be in touch with community members and see what we can do to make CCISD the choice ISD for all the kids in Corpus Christi.
Thank you all so much for those opening statements. We will jump right into the questions. Question number 1 for you this evening is, what will your priorities be in office, and what measurable actions will you take to address them? We'll start with Mr. Elizondo.
Great. Well, again, I've got a few really key issues that I'm looking at. Again, school safety is one of the big ones. When I was on the school board, we were able to improve school safety with technology in campuses while I was there. And we did a real good job, but that's going to be another issue. We need to have police officers at every campus, including every single elementary school campus. CCISD doesn't do that now. Not only do we need to focus on the threats from the outside coming into our school, but we also need to focus on what's going on in our school, like bullying. That's one of the huge issues now. Part of that is the mental health program. We need mental health for children. Things aren't the same as they were when we went to school. There are different challenges that students face these days. So we need to have mental health for children, and there needs to be a mental health component for our educators. They do a lot. They are stressed, they are overworked and underpaid. We need to have a way to find some mental health systems for them. And the last thing that I would focus on, well, not the last thing, but one of the other key components is transparency and accountability. We need to be transparent in the things we do, not only on the school board, but at the campus levels as well. And we need to be able to provide as much support to our teachers and administrators so that they can do the job that we're paying them to do with the tools that they need and deserve.
Thank you so much. We'll move on to Mr. Bell. Same question. And of course, candidates, if you need me to repeat a question, please let me know.
Sure. In 2016, after spending 34 years in the classroom, there was a big learning curve getting on the school board. And one of the learning curves that we went through was going through Lone Star governance, which helped our school board drill down on what was really important. And what we drilled down on was pre-K through 3 reading and math. And we designed our objectives around that. And we put basically where our money, where our mouth was. And that's going to be a priority of mine as well, because research shows that if kids aren't reading by the on level by the 3rd grade, they are going to have a rough academic life, which translates into a struggle for the rest of their life. So, our kids have spent 2 years out of school basically because of COVID. And when I get back on the board, pre-K through 3 reading and math is going to be huge. And obviously we get reports, there's into school, the STAR testing and things like that, that the CCISD is able to put budget money towards those programs and whatnot. And I also think discipline is a big issue for our kids coming back, so that they know what the rules are, and there's going to be applied consistently and fairly at all different levels and whatnot. So those are 2 big areas that I think that are very important.
Thank y'all so much for those answers. Moving on to question number 2. What is the impact of new independent charter school networks on funding for CCISD public schools? And is there anything you would do to change that impact? Mr. Bell, we will start with you.
Well, what you have to do is first off think about why would parents spend money to send their kids to a school other than a CCISD school? And a lot of that has to do with school environment. It goes right back to what I talked about, getting kids to show up on time with their supplies ready to work, and get them into the classroom and get them going, and have a level of discipline so that mom and dads feel safe when their kids go to school, that they're going to be taken care of every single day. And once mom and dads feel like that's occurring, those kids will come back. They want to go to their local schools because that's where all their friends are. That's where they socialize. That's where they're going to grow up in the neighborhood. And so we've done a pretty good job from 2016 to 2020 when I was on the board about passing bonds and having vegetables at all of our campuses and having a single entry to help create a safe environment. But now we have policies that are on campus that need to be enforced to further enhance our safety and our school culture, which is just huge for bringing mom and dads and kids back to our campus. I'll be sure that's taking place.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Elizondo, same question.
Yeah, I mean, charter schools have a huge impact on public education. Public education is there for everybody and serves everybody. Some of the things that we need to look at as a district is why our kids are leaving to charter schools, and really drill down on that focus. We're building new schools and renovating schools, but we can't continue to do it without innovation. We've got to bring innovation into our classrooms and into our administration. The other thing is, we've got to be flexible. Charter schools have a lot of flexibility. Some kids don't go home to an environment that has, 2 parents, food on the table every day, a warm, safe place to sleep, and schools need to be that. And once we get to that point where the entire board, the entire staff, the entire district is focused on that, focused on changing that perception with our students and our parents, I think we can get there. But we have to do it with innovative ideas. We have to do it with community input. We have to do it with our teachers and staff being involved in the process. And we've got to be flexible. We've got to have flexibility in the way we do things. The other thing is, as a board, we have to be able to work with our legislators. That's a big, that's our funding mechanism for public schools. So we've got to get them involved. We've got to keep them abreast of what's happening in the schools, and we got to keep hammering them on the funding that's needed to make our schools safer, welcoming, and successful for students.
Thank y'all so much. We move to our final question of the evening. This question is, what other issues do you believe will be the most pressing for the CCISD school board? Mr. Elizondo, we'll begin with you.
Well, there are quite a few, but I'll kind of focus in on this. It's a national, I'd say a national pandemic, a national epidemic. We are losing teachers, and teachers aren't wanting to come into our field anymore. There's too much bureaucracy involved. There's too much put on teachers and not enough pay. We've got to have a better system of recruiting and retaining our teachers. We've got to be innovative. We've got to see what other school districts that are like us are doing to keep their teachers and to recruit new teachers. That's not just at a regional or state level, that's at a national level. The other thing is what we were just talking about is our kids. We've got to be able to keep our children in our schools. We've got to make CCISD the school of choice. When I was on the school board in 2018 to now, we've probably lost about 6,000 to 8,000 students. If we can regain those students, recruit our high quality teachers, we're going to be able to level out our budget and do a lot of the things that we need to do. And one of the biggest things we need to do is we need to pay teachers what they're worth, or at least get as close to doing it as we can.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bell, same question.
I think Tony hits on some very good points there. The teacher retention is a huge issue, and there's a couple of ways that you can go about that. You ask teachers about two things that are important to them, and they're going to tell you, obviously their paycheck, but obviously time. And we as a school board and administrative team, you got to figure out how to give teachers back time so that they can spend it preparing lessons that are innovative, that are valuable, that are topical, that students can relate to their everyday's life and going forward. Kate is going to be a big issue going forward. Our school district is buying into providing different certificates that hey, if you don't go to college, you don't go into the military, when you walk across the stage from CCISD, you could have a certificate in your hand, and you could be ready to go into the workforce and make some real money. We have welding programs that are at a couple of different high schools, but we also have partnered with Craft to provide welding for opportunities for other students. So CATE courses are going to be a big issue in providing and finding teachers that can do that. Obviously, we need our students in our classroom, and we want to make CCISD the school district of choice here in South Texas. And I think that if we make our teachers happy and they have the ability to go in and provide a great learning environment for our students, and the magic's going to happen in the classroom because we have some great teachers in CCISD.
Thank y'all candidates so much for those answering those questions for us this evening. We have come to the point of the forum where you will have 1 minute for a closing statement. And Mr. Bell, we will begin with you.
I really appreciate the opportunity to visit with you folks. Tony Elizondo is a good guy. He really is. I think that I would be better suited for District 3. I'm a product of District 3. I've grown up in District 3. I shop. I go to church in District 3. My kids live in District 3. So I really believe that if there's anybody that's best suited to represent District 3 and the school board, it would be Marty Bell. And I just ask on November the 8th, actually October the 24th, here to come in about a week and a half, you're going to have early voting opportunities, that you go out and you select Marty Bell for your District 3 representative for Corpus Christi Independent School District. It's not that well, it's that I care about education. There's two things I really know in this world. It's basketball and it's education. And I feel like I have a lot left in the tank to give our community and our teachers and our kids as we go forward in the education in Corpus Christi. And I just really truly want to make Corpus Christi Independent School District the school district of choice here in South Texas.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Mr. Elizondo, your 1-minute closing statement, please.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having us. I'd like to thank Marty for always being cordial. Marty and I go back and we're good friends. But I am asking for your vote for the Corpus Christi Independent School District in District 3. I do live in District 3. I also shop there. But the thing is, I've lived in different parts of the city and I've lived in different parts of the nation. I've seen different school districts. I've seen the challenges they have, and I've seen the benefits that I can bring to our school district. Although we will be representing District 3, we will represent every single child that's in our district. So there are a lot of ideas that I have. There are a lot of teachers that I want to work with, administrators I want to continue working with. I had a great, fantastic journey while I was on the school board. Fortunately and unfortunately, I had a great opportunity to move to Minnesota for employment. I came back, and the first thing I said to my wife is, I want to get back on the school district. I don't like some of the things that are going on, and I think that I have some of the answers working along with the other board members to get things done. I have vision, and I have ideas that I've seen not only growing up in the 78415 district, now living in the 78414 district, but also places I've been like Minnesota, like Ohio, like Hawaii, like South Dakota, and the different systems that are around there. I just think that I have a different view. I'm not saying better, it's just different than what a lot of board members that are sitting there now have, and what Marty has. It's just different. So, I ask for your vote come October 24th and then on November 8th.
Candidates, thank you so much for joining us in this important forum. It's a great way to reach the community, and we're very grateful that you joined us this evening. I also want to say a big thank you to Anel Neal for being our Zoom flight director, and also to Debbie Noble, who is the director of our website and social media, for making this virtual forum possible. The League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area appreciates these candidates not only for their belief in the democratic process that we all enjoy in our nation, but also for their commitment to public service and the sacrifices they have made to participate in the campaign process. Please be sure to check out the League of Women Voters online voters guide at vote411.org, which is available in English and Spanish. By entering your address in the vote411.org website, you will produce an electronic My Ballot for your specific address that shows all of the races and candidates you will see on your 2022 ballot. Please check the .org portion of the Vote 411, as some unscrupulous actors may be attempting to redirect traffic. Printed copies of the English and Spanish state election guides provided by the League of Women Voters of Texas, and a 48-page guide to the local races compiled by the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area will be distributed in mid-October. For locations, please visit the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area's website at LWVCCA.org. Remember, early voting starts Monday, October 24th, and the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters website is also up to date on election information, including early voting locations. As a reminder, recordings of this event may not be used without the express written approval of the League of Women Voters Corpus Christi area. The League will only allow audio and video of this event to be broadcast in its entirety. except by media reporting on the event. And first and foremost, on behalf of Catherine Oler, thank you for watching. On behalf of all of the members of the Corpus Christi League of Women Voters, thank you all for attending. Have a great evening.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having us.
Ellie.